Hello everyone, and welcome to Content Strategy 101. This is the second in a series of professional development webinars, the first being the 10 Commandments of Digital Marketing. My name is Ricardo Ibarra, Creative Director for Trio Group, a full-service marketing communications agency in Seattle. This webinar is produced by Shana Peschek, Director of the Construction Center of Excellence, and Avary, Director of the Center of Excellence for Marine Manufacturing and Technology. Please visit their websites for more information on their programs. This webinar is designed primarily for educators and training providers. However, community organizations and labor groups will be able to successfully apply the marketing principles we'll be discussing to their own operations. This webinar is especially for you if you've ever said, "I don't know what to post online." If this is you, stick around because I've got 101 content ideas for any industry. I want to demonstrate my expertise and my program's success. A little bit later on, I'll show you how to establish yourself as an expert by publishing content that's valuable to your audience. If you've ever thought, I feel like I'm always lagging behind, don't worry because I've got tons of time-saving strategies to help you create great content and stay on track with your content marketing. Here's what you'll learn. You'll learn why great content is good for you, your program, and your audience. How to get long-term results from your short-term content investment, and of course, how to save time by curating valuable content from other sources. So if you're ready, let's get started. Now, if you learn just one thing from this webinar, I hope that it'll be this simple phrase: content is king. Let's find out why. Content marketing in a nutshell is using valuable content like a written article, an infographic, a podcast, or even a video to attract your target audience. It's a complete paradigm shift from traditional marketing, and here's why. Content marketing focuses on providing valuable, problem-solving information to the audience instead of just hyping the features of a product or service. At its core, content marketing focuses its message externally to say, here's how I can help you solve your problem. It's a big shift, and the online world has taken notice. Google, Bing, Yahoo, and even the social networks like Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn all reward publishers of fresh, original content because it positions their sites as a go-to place for valuable information. Content marketing works while you sleep by continuing to attract customers from all corners of the web. And it saves time by bringing your audience closer to your organization through repeated exposure to your message, and it builds trust and prestige so that the people you care about begin to view you as an indispensable expert, which you are, right? For those of you in the nonprofit space, your colleagues are already marketing their organizations through quality content. 33% plan to increase their budget, and 40% plan to spend the same amount as the previous year. Content marketing has become a business imperative. Now, before you jump right in, it's critical to establish a content strategy that aligns to your business goals, promotes your voice and message consistently, reaches the right people at the right time, and of course, to save time and energy. The anatomy of an effective content strategy begins with the 5 W's: who, what, when, where, and why. We start with who because we can't produce effective content, or even effective marketing for that matter, without understanding the people we are trying to reach. If you haven't already, revisit our webinar, The 10 Commandments of Digital Marketing, for an overview on segmentation and creating audience personas. Typically, the audiences of a business are those who care most about what you offer and the people you'd like to reach. These are consumers, customers, and stakeholders. You should have an audience for every major service or product that you offer. The what represents the actions you want your audience to take, the message they need to understand in order to take that action, and the value they must see in you before they are receptive to your message. The value you provide your audience must be extremely clear and direct in order to capture the short attention spans of online viewers. The more clearly you can identify their pains and problems, the more likely they are to listen. The when portion of the strategy may be a moving target. Look at your website analytics and social media dashboards to determine the best time to post online. Modern email marketing providers even include open rates and the time of day when your email messages are read, so use that information to schedule your campaigns. And of course, your real-life schedule and upcoming events, class schedules, and holidays will impact your efforts. Where your audience can be found online is an important component of an effective content strategy. As the saying goes, fish where the fishes are. If you're not sure where to begin, look at similar organizations or companies to see where they're having the most success online. If you're wary of asking your competitors for their marketing insights, I recommend approaching adjacent industry leaders for their ideas. Since you're not directly competing with them, they'll be much more likely to share some of their metrics, especially if you offer to provide them with insights on your audiences. Another way to learn where your audience is interacting online is to use search engines and social networks to find affinity groups, trade organizations, and other related topics to investigate. And if you're already interacting with a sizable audience, just ask them. The why of your content strategy may be the most important part because it defines the reason you're interacting with your audiences. It ties together your business goals, your plans for your program and services, and your vision for your audiences. Remember, people don't buy what we do, they buy why we do it. So be exceptionally clear on the big picture purpose for your content marketing and share it openly. Okay, we've created a strategy of who, what, when, where, and why. Now let's dive into the good stuff. How to create content that excites and delights your audience. Whenever you create a piece of content, whether that's a blog post, an infographic, a video, an email message, or just a social media post, your number one goal should be to provide value to your audience. And doing that is easy if you remember the value formula. Take one of the E's, add one of the I's, and you can be sure you're producing great content that's valuable to your audience. The more variables you can add, the more valuable your content. Let's take a closer look. The first E is one of the most important variables in the value formula. Content that teaches your audience how to solve a problem or move them towards their goals is high impact and high value. Step-by-step guides, how-to videos, and other rich educational content is gold in any industry. Entertaining content is a great way to express the human side of your brand and to let your own personality shine through your marketing efforts. Find funny quotes, stories, and other humor online, or include some of your own funny stories. The great thing about humor is that it doesn't have to be directly related to your industry. You can include humor that is related to universal topics like going to work, Monday mornings, pets, really anything that most of your audience can enjoy for a chuckle. The trick is to relate the humor back to something your audience cares about in a subtle way to keep them connected to your brand. Inform your audience about important news, trends, and facts related to your industry and their problems. This type of content positions you as a go-to source for relevant, timely information. Finally, inspiring content helps to lift your audience's sights from the mundane and remind them of the big picture. Think tales of success and testimonials, incredible accomplishments, and underdog stories. As I mentioned earlier, search engines, social networks, and your users all love fresh, relevant content. Let's look at two types of content: Evergreen content, as you can imagine, lasts and lasts, while deciduous content eventually expires because it grows outdated. It's important to publish both types of content, so let's look at them now. Deciduous content is typically only fresh for a month or two. This is content that is time-sensitive or related to an event. Yet, despite becoming outdated, deciduous content is a valuable record of business activities, projects, and programs. Deciduous content is especially important when promoting events. I break up my content into pre-event, event, and post-event coverage for maximum impact. Pre-event coverage includes speaker bios, behind the scenes, teasers, the activity schedule, location and amenities, and giveaways. Event coverage can include recordings and photographs of seminars and speakers, key takeaways, interviews or testimonials of attendees, award winners and highlights, and play-by-plays or live coverage. The goal of event coverage is to encourage the folks who didn't attend to come next year. Post-event coverage is where you recap the event and its successes, including recordings and transcripts, interviews or testimonials of attendees, award winners and highlights, follow-up information, reporting, and results. This builds your marketing efforts for the next event. Depending on the relationship, content about people can remain fresh for longer than other types of content. It may only need to be updated once or twice a year. When writing about the people who contribute to your organization, be sure to keep the focus on how they benefit your audience and the value they bring to your company. Instead of writing a stiff corporate bio, write compelling profiles that capture the story behind how the person overcame obstacles and developed into the individual they are today. Of course, information about your classes, seminars, and other activities expires after a time. Yet it's a powerful record of what you do, so be sure to capture it along with reviews and testimonials for future marketing and outreach. Evergreen content lasts and lasts. Its power is in its ability to continue attracting visitors to your website over many months, even years without major updates. This is where a short-term investment can pay off in the long term. Evergreen content includes industry best practices, trainings and webinars, instructional guides, as well as strategies and processes. The more value and detailed information you can provide as evergreen content, the longer it lasts and the harder it will work for your organization. You may have heard of Vilfredo Pareto, an Italian economist and avid gardener who first noted that 80% of the land in Italy was owned by 20% of the population, and that 80% of the peas in his garden were produced by 20% of the plants. The 80-20 principle can be found throughout life and business. I've co-opted it for digital marketing by limiting promotional content to 20% of outbound messaging, and reserving the remaining 80% for providing value. By remaining squarely focused on value formula content, we prevent our marketing efforts from becoming white noise and increase the potency of our few promotional messages. How do you know what's a promotional message? Look at the action words. If you've included words such as register, sign up, enroll, or buy, you've got a message that's focused on transactions. On the flip side, the action words that are part of value formula content are learn, read, discover, or watch. Note that download is on both lists, and here's why. When you ask your audience to download something for free, or at a low-cost investment such as their email, be sure to include a valuable preview or excerpt, and you're squarely in value formula content. But the minute you ask for money, no matter how good the freebie, you've got promotional content. Now, I don't expect you to create weeks and weeks of content on your own. In fact, I discourage you from doing that. Curating content from other respectable sources is a fantastic way to save time and energy while still serving your audience. You'll be relieved to hear that the 80-20 principle is also applicable here. Shoot for producing 20% of your own content and curating the remaining 80% from the sources listed above. Other industry-specific sources could include trade journals, association newsletters, and white papers. When you post curated content, take a few moments to include how it is relevant to your audience. Highlight a passage, include your own perspective, or apply the takeaway to a pressing audience need. This commentary can be brief, however, it's important to include because it shows your audience that you're still connected with their issues. Observe these 3 simple best practices to keep your curated content fresh and engaging. Always look to add value. When reposting, add a sentence explaining why the content is valuable to your audience. Highlight a quote or the main takeaway. Your audience should always know why what you're posting matters to them. Include proper attribution. Reposting content from within a social network will automatically include this information. However, when posting from other sources, like a website, it's a good idea to ensure that the reader knows exactly who published or created the original content. As always, keep your audience in mind. If your curated content isn't an obvious fit with one of your audiences, perhaps it's best saved for later. One of the newest content repositories online is Medium, and it is growing fast. Medium's focus on journalistic articles and a simple, beautiful interface makes it easy to find content and inspiration on just about any topic. You can log in with your Facebook and Twitter accounts or sign up via email. I've searched for construction, and a ton of articles are available and ready for me to read. You can also see the related tags here in the upper right. They include architecture, construction management, real estate, building construction, and more. Quora is a site where anyone can post a question or an answer. The answers to a question can be upvoted by users, so the better the answer, the closer it appears to the original question. Visit Quora.com to get started and search for a topic of interest in the search bar at the top of the page. If you find a topic with a lot of great information, click the Follow Topic button on the right to receive updates about new questions and answers. SlideShare is the best place on the web to find and watch presentations. Simply type a topic, such as Homeland Security, into the search bar at the top of the page, and you'll be rewarded with plenty of interesting slide decks and video presentations. SlideShare makes it easy to embed presentations on the web or share them directly with your social media followers. Pulse is an publishing platform that was acquired by LinkedIn in 2014 and has grown by leaps and bounds to include many business and industry leaders, as well as tons of rich content divided into channels. Visit linkedin.com/pulse to get started. Click the little hamburger icon next to the word Pulse in the upper left corner to open the Channels menu. If you don't see a topic you like, click Discover More and you'll be greeted with a gallery page of influencers and countless topics. Scroll down to see the Channels gallery. Google Alerts is an oldie but goodie. Basically, you can create an alert about any search term such as careers and education. As soon as Google indexes a web page that matches the search term, you'll receive an email notification. By clicking Show Options below the search bar, you can adjust how often you receive notifications, what types of content trigger an alert, and even choose to batch all alerts into a daily digest. Flipboard is a content aggregator where users can create their own digital magazines. Start by searching for a topic of interest, then flip through the magazines to see what other people are collecting. Flipboard integrates well with other social networks, so you can easily post the articles you find. Pocket is another content aggregator. Although it doesn't have any sort of discovery engine, Pocket's real power is the ability to save video, photos, web pages, and articles to its archive, then share that saved content on the social web. You can even tag saved content so it's easy to sort, then share it with just a single click. Here's a bonus tip. Use Buffer to build an automated queue of social media updates from your favorite content sources, then let it run in the background. With the free version of Buffer, you can connect to one page or profile on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Google+. Then share content to Buffer from your desktop or mobile device, and Buffer will automatically share that content with the selected networks at pre-scheduled times. Posting user-generated content is an easy way to build affinity and trust for your brand while showcasing the people you serve. User-generated content not only saves you time and money as a marketer, it allows you to sell your products and services by highlighting the stories of your audience. Here are 3 ways to leverage user-generated content. Tell their story. Every one of your students, customers, or members has a unique story to tell. You can really draw your audiences closer by sharing candid, interesting stories from your audience about how you helped them overcome a problem or become more successful. Don't shy away from the struggles or failures of your audience either. Oftentimes, the stories of pain and challenge are more compelling than a purely positive narrative. You can tell your audience's story through testimonials, interviews, video highlights, or podcast-style interviews. Community challenges are a great way to engage people's competitive nature and generate a sense of community. You can create contests for just about anything. A project portfolio, featuring your product in a unique location, or inventing a new use for an everyday item in your industry. The best kinds of contests are those that challenge your community to work together and celebrate mutual success. A classic example is a group weight loss challenge or a healthy eating challenge. Create a survey or poll to gather responses from your audience. This is not only a great way to gather business intelligence, but it helps your audience understand that they're part of a larger group. Once you've gathered the data, present it in an attractive graphic format for everyone to review. Another way to save time and money is to repurpose the content that you create. I've got a fun analogy for how to divide your big pieces of content and lots of ideas on how to reuse that content to keep your audiences tuned into your ideas without tons of extra work. I like to save time and energy by thinking of my big piece of content as if it's a Thanksgiving turkey. Now, my family never eats the entire turkey on Thanksgiving, so we've gotten really good at making all sorts of tasty dishes from the leftovers, like turkey sandwiches, turkey meatballs, and turkey pot pie. And then when we're down to the last bits, we'll throw the bones in a pot and make delicious turkey stock for soups. Now let's apply that same idea to your biggest, most impressive pieces of content. Now you want to produce at least one piece of epic content each quarter that's just out of this world. What's epic content? It's something that addresses one of the most pressing challenges of your audience. It's an exhaustive look at an issue, the complete guide to what your audience needs to know. Chances are you're already producing epic content like this, such as an industry trends analysis and forecast, a student resources handbook, or a detailed instruction guide or manual. The first big slices of your epic content are the juicy chapters, sections, or themes that can stand on their own. These are the most important takeaways from the whole turkey. Separate these from your content turkey into whatever format is easiest. If your content is mostly written, divide it into separate blog articles. If it has lots of graphics, create some infographics or a slide deck. The key here is to just carve away at your epic content and identify the big pieces, which will change and remix this content later. After you've got your big slices, it's time to carve your content into smaller portions. These are the secondary concepts like quotes and references, standalone facts and figures, and supporting ideas. These could be parts of your big slices, or they could be part of what remains of your epic content after pulling out the big major points. Often, these secondary concepts are short enough that it's easy to represent them visually. Stay tuned for our upcoming webinar, Eye-Popping Graphic Content, to learn how to use powerful free online tools to create fantastic graphics. Finally, we're left with the snackable content. These are the bite-sized bits like quick facts, teasers, and short quotes that are perfect for social media updates. I like to take my snackable content and quickly rewrite it to sound more like an interesting headline, so it's sure to capture the audience's attention. Here's where you can really add legs to your content by remixing it into a different format. The idea behind remixing your content is to provide the same information in different media so that your audience consume it wherever they prefer. I'll cover a couple of popular remix strategies so you can see what I mean. If you're starting with text content, like a trends report or a resource guide, the easiest remix to start with is a podcast or audio recording. Simply read one of the sections of your text content. For added value, capture an expert in your field sharing their commentary on the same content. Next, create graphics of the pull quotes and the facts and figures in your report. If there are any complicated tables, record a screen capture of yourself explaining them or compile related graphs into an infographic. Finally, you can create a slide deck out of your text content with a few graphics and even record your presentation as a webinar. We'll have another webinar coming soon on how to create awesome slide decks. If you're starting with primarily graphic content, such as a lecture slide deck, the easiest remix is to capture yourself delivering the lecture on video or through a screen capture. You could create infographics or other standalone images of your most important slides, and finally put together blog articles out of the speaker's notes from your presentation. Okay, here's what you've been waiting for. 101 content ideas for everything from blogging to social media and beyond. I've adapted some of these questions from a guide published by HubSpot. Let's get started. Number 4, record a behind-the-scenes or day-in-the-life video or photo album. This is a great way to highlight the people your organization serves and to show that you are intimately connected with their needs. Number 8, share a list of tips for specific learning concepts. Top 10 safety tips and talks for residential construction. Everyone's seen these list-style posts online before, and for good reason. They're extremely popular, easy to read, and full of actionable information. Just make sure your posts are squarely focused on an audience need and list away. Number 11. Create a weekly link roundup of relevant news for your audience. This is a relatively easy and low-cost way to demonstrate your insights while delivering massive value to your audience. Start by creating a roundup for one audience, then expand to producing a roundup for multiple audiences and add your commentary on the hot topics. Share your slides from a recent presentation. Chances are you're already producing tons of content. If you've got a favorite lecture or presentation, break it into smaller chunks and convert your speaker's notes into a blog post. Collect tweets from a webinar or conference hashtag and answer recurring questions or add your commentary on the major topics. This is great even if you can't attend a conference. Just pay attention to what folks are posting on social media and write a blog post addressing some of the most common themes or questions. Create a survey with SurveyMonkey for your community members and design an infographic based on the results. This is a great way to help your audience discover more about people like them and connect over similar interests. Depending on the survey, you could analyze the responses in additional blog posts or produce other content. Ask a panel of experts to offer their best advice and write a roundup of their recommendations. For those of you with advisory boards or boards of directors, this is a great way to help those stakeholders feel invested in your marketing efforts. Explain what a current event or topic in the news means for your industry or audience. You might also relate a current event or topic back to your industry with a post like, "What IT professionals can learn from the Oscars." It's a fun way to keep your marketing fresh and topical. Just be sure to approach this with tact and avoid sensitive issues that may cast your business as an opportunist. Run a contest and give away something valuable to your community. Friendly contests and challenges are a great way to bring your audience together over a common goal. Think food and clothing drives or other positive competitions where everyone wins. Compile common responses into a library so you can engage in real time with ease. Here's a real time saver for social media and even email. Create a response library so your assistant or staff can manage and reply in a consistent voice, freeing up more of your time and ensuring every tweet, Facebook message, or email gets answered. Host a Q&A session with Twitter chat and a hashtag. Twitter chat is a great new feature that enables anyone to chime in with a simple hashtag. You can share the hashtag with just your audience or post it online for everyone to see and contribute. It's a good idea to promote and schedule your Twitter chats in advance since most Twitter users only visit their feed once per day. Use an auto-scheduling tool such as Buffer or Hootsuite to schedule throughout the day and weekend to target different time zones and readers. These tools can also be used for Facebook, Google+, LinkedIn, and many other social networks. They're an incredible time-saving tool and even have browser extensions that make sharing content from other sites quick and simple. Let your Twitter followers know about contests or great discussions happening on your Facebook page or LinkedIn group. Just don't ask for likes or followers. It's totally fine to share excerpts and teasers across social networks. For example, if you plan to broadcast on Facebook Live, send out a few tweets in advance to remind your Twitter followers to join you on Facebook. Then tweet out the link to your broadcast so they can tune in. Post a short video reply to a customer's tweet from the native Twitter app. Video is a great way to develop trust and relationships with your customers, so use it. Twitter has made it incredibly easy to record a short video right in the Twitter app on your smartphone and send it as a reply. Do a special edition of #FollowFriday and give it a theme. Group special community members or companies together around a special trait or contribution to your community. Follow Friday is a long-standing tradition where Twitter users highlight other people their audience should follow on Twitter. The best Follow Fridays are curated around a specific topic or theme. Let an expert take over your Facebook page for a day to interact directly with your followers and answer their questions. This is another great way of shining the spotlight on the people who bring exceptional value to your organization. Sit down with them and establish an outline of what you'd like to see on their takeover day, then promote the special content to your audience on other platforms. Tell the first part of a joke or riddle and let your followers post their responses. This is a fun way to share industry-related humor and get your audience involved at the same time. Even better if you can relate that humor to another piece of value formula content. Post a mystery photo and ask your followers to guess what it is. Choose extreme close-ups or interesting locations, or even a silhouette photo of someone who is popular in your network. Keep the audience guessing with clues and make the big reveal at the end of the week. Compare and contrast two products or ideas in a photo and prompt your community to add their thoughts. If there's a popular divide in your industry, like Chevy versus Ford, this can be a fun conversation starter to learn about the preferences of your audience. Host a talk show style video on Blab where you can take questions from the audience. Blab is an online live streaming service that lets the host include up to 3 other broadcasters or audience members on screen with them in a split screen view. Anyone with a web browser and a webcam can join in, so you can use it to feature viewers asking questions live on the air. Create a SlideShare presentation that outlines 10 misconceptions or hot trends in your industry. With SlideShare, you can create auto-playing slideshows with video and narration that can be embedded anywhere on the web. It's a great tool for demonstrating expertise and increasing your digital reach. Publish a white paper or research document on LinkedIn Pulse, the LinkedIn publishing platform. LinkedIn Pulse is a phenomenal resource for white papers and research documents online. It is heavily integrated into the LinkedIn social network, so your content can be discovered and shared by any of the millions of LinkedIn members. Join a topical group and post your comments. As you comment in groups on LinkedIn, your network will see your activity in public groups in their newsfeed, and your comments will be seen by the group members, further increasing your reach. Focus on providing value and insight, and you'll gain new followers quickly. These high-impact prompts will focus your writing on answering the needs of your target audience. You could start by answering your most frequently asked questions. What expert opinions does your audience value? This is a great curation source. And what does your audience need to believe before they enroll in your program or course? Interview industry leaders for their insights and hiring process. Write a report on trending industry topics such as new techniques, equipment, or standards. Photograph hands-on work and student projects. Publish course reviews and respond to questions or concerns. As you can see, even one of these prompts has the potential to create lots and lots of great content that'll be of value to your audience. Bonus content prompts for educators. Visit chegg.com/study/QA to view questions that students are asking about your course material. Just type a subject into the search field to see the most recent questions. Although viewing the answers requires a Chegg Study subscription, you can still get a bird's eye view to inform your content writing. There you have it. Thank you so much for joining me for Content Strategy 101. If you have questions or comments and you're watching this shortly after our launch date in May of 2016, check your email for information about our follow-up Q&A session. Otherwise, please email Shana Peschek at the Construction Center of Excellence or Ann Avary at the Marine Manufacturing Center of Excellence.